This is the foundation inspection. Now you've got a lot of shrubs quite close up to the foundation, and that is a problem because what it does, it allows insects and vermin cover and are able to get onto the building. So you just want it all trimmed back. The gardener's easy task would be just to remove this these shrubs, or not shrubs, there's a grass, isn't it? I'm not good at grasses, I'm afraid, but you remove those grasses just so they don't touch the actual building itself, and that will help. So we're at the front elevation of the building, and we're looking at the foundation for possible issues. Now, these bushes here, they need to be cut back, and again, you want a gap between the building and the shrubs. That really does improve the situation. Now down here, right down here we have a post-tension cable end showing. It's that there. Where we are, we're just by the portico. Now the solution is to have all of the post-tension cable ends where they show parged. That you smooth a waterproof mortar over them, and that fixes them. So we're continuing the inspection at the front elevation. And we have an old hole left in the foundation. That comes about in the building process. What actually happened was somebody stuck a piece of boarding back into the area when it was being poured, and then when the form boards were taken away, that board was pulled out. All you need to do there is fill it with cement. Continuing on with our inspection of the foundation. Okay. Now we've got a neighbour's yard here, which I can't go into. Now this is a natural swale area. We'll talk about that in the grading, but there's nothing you could do about that, and you can see it often stays quite damp. So you've got a lot of moss there. Got a lot of moss in England. In England it's deemed charming. It's because it rains all the bloody time. Again, and we've got the grade is too high. What it's actually doing, it's coming up and getting close contact with the brickwork, and that can cause dampness to migrate through the bricks and into the wooden structure of the house. So what I want here, I want these shrubs removed and just some mulch put down, but remove the shrubs completely, put some mulch down, actually dig it out so that the grade is below the foundation brick line. You can see the brick line here. The brick shelf, you can see, normally you can't see that, there was a little bit of calculation error in the laying of the slab, and it's resulted in more slab than needed. That's better than more slab than less slab than needed. So we're now at the rear elevation and the pool area. Here we can't see the foundation, it's covered up by the patio. Let's go and look at the foundation here. So this is better. You can see here, well no it's not, we've got this is too high, this grade, and these bushes, my recommendation is get rid of them. And why? Well, they are a cause of moisture. They remove moisture from the soil, and they can cause differences in moisture around the building. If you don't want to get rid of them, which is understandable, just have them trimmed back hard, so that they don't actually have a large amount of leaf coverage that's going to absorb all the moisture. Swimming pool equipment, and again we've got the foundation here, all looking good here. So in this area here, again, we've got two higher levels of the grade coming up in contact with the brick. All you need to do there is rake it back so that the actual grade, the stonework, nothing's in touch with the bricks itself, which allows the moisture in. Now at the rear elevation by the garage, and a little bit of parging come off the foundation here. That's not so much of a problem. Now in this corner here you can see you've got your neighbour's fence. You can see a lot of water staining there. It's probably a result of the sprinkler system perhaps. But what I'm looking at is these bricks down here. They need to be removed. This is a swale and it allows the area to drain. And I know why they put them there. They're trying to keep animals out and stuff like that. But it doesn't help the drainage. The drainage on this area is okay. We've got a nice slope away for the groundwork. The flat work doesn't look as if it's heaving, which would indicate movement in the ground around the house. It's looking okay. So the grading on the rear elevation is fine. As I say, get your neighbour to unblock that swale where that brick is. It really will help your foundation. In here the grading's fine. Yep, all looks good here. Mentioned earlier about shrubs, so always cut them well hard back or remove them from around foundations. Everybody loves them, but they do actually cause problems. Let's go and look at the front elevation. Now this is the front elevation. We're looking for the wall to have drain points. It does. Okay, we're okay in here. Good drainage. Okay, now this is the right elevation, and you can see here where the grade is actually sloping towards your foundation. Now today, in today's building code, that wouldn't be allowed, and what would be required in here is a French drain. There's already a drainage system for the gutters. You can see it there going into the ground, and then further back you can see how it's sloping towards here, but it also slopes towards the back, and the back is where we need those bricks removed so it will drain out onto the backyard and the alley. I'm on a ladder. I'm to the left of the portico. There's a portico there. What I'm curious about is what's causing this paint to flake here. There's obviously water present, and I think I've identified the source. We come up and we look at the soffit right at the end here. Once the camera adjusts the light, you can see there's a gap between it and the shingles. What is actually happening is water is coming down the roof and also off of this gutter here, and it's washing up and getting siphoned back into the area above the soffit. Also, rodents are entering the building at this point, because you can see here they've been chewing on the board to wear their teeth down. So that area needs to be both sealed from a water point of view and also from a rodent point of view. You don't want rodents getting in and out of your attic. I'm at the rear elevation, we're near the air conditioning units, and what we're looking at is the only soffit vents I've found so far. It's a vent of about 2 inches by about 24 feet. I need to do some calculations to work out whether we've got enough ventilation here. There is a point in Texas, you can never have too much ventilation to your attic, because what we're trying to do is remove that very, very hot summer. We're now at the rear elevation by the garage. We've got another, I would say, 15 feet of soffit and about 30 foot of soffit. No, it's 18 foot of soffit. Yeah, 18 foot because it finishes here. So we're at the rear elevation, at the left side of the roof, and you can see here we've got an attic vent. Now the problem with that attic vent is that it also has a twin. Not that one, although that's still not that good, but it's still not the real problem. These two up here, and it's difficult to see it because of the light, but those two are opposite, and that's going to cause the vents to short circuit and not remove air from the attic. This is the attic located at the front left elevation. It's open to the upper attic there. I just want to confirm that we don't seem to have soffits. I can't find them on the outside. There's no evidence of them in here. And there's insufficient soffit ventilation into this, into the whole attic system. Quite a lot of attic soffit ventilation's got to be added. Okay, there's a purlin strut. This is the attic located at the right of the portico. Now, down here we have gas pipes and Romex cables running over the top of them, and also you'll note it's been trodden down. Well, this is because people have used it as a point to step into the attic itself. Now the problem with that is those Romex cables can be damaged, and then the gas lines could become live. Those Romex cables have got to be separated from the gas line and then protected. I suggest a step is put in here that will protect both the gas line and the Romex cables from being trodden on by people carelessly wandering around this attic. Again, we don't have any soffit vents in this attic, so its chances of it cooling through the flow of air from the soffits up through the vents is pretty zero. When the soffit vents are put in, you need to have baffles put in as well. Baffles enable the air to flow in unencumbered by insulation. This is the attic on the right elevation of the property, and there is something laying over the ducting here, and it's crushing the ducting. That's got to be removed. It's going to damage that duct pipe and interfere with your air conditioning system. Now this attic is sealed from the upper attic, and there's no ventilation at all in here. That really needs to be corrected. You want to put some air vents in here. So that's the attic that is off the landing. There we go. And it's got the air conditioning unit in it. And yeah, there's places for air to flow in and out, but not enough. Yeah, it's got insulation there. So ventilation is required in this particular attic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Another 10, 30. 2 feet, 60 foot by 10, 600 square foot. Put in a couple of vents in here, 1 foot square. That should fix the ventilation to this attic. Again, soffits are required down here. There are no soffits at all on the right elevation. Now I'm in the upper attic. I can see how we can solve the problem of ventilation in that lower attic which you've just been in. In here, install baffles to allow air to flow from the lower attic and the soffits which will be installed into this upper attic. You can see here that the attic rafter is pulling away from the centre board. That's in a number of places along here. That can be strengthened and reinforced to prevent any further movement. We're at the front elevation of the attic, and there is a split rafter at the centre board. This is the attic inspection at the rear elevation of the building. This is the wall inspection. We can see here that we've got the siding, and down here with some trim. And you can see how the trim work's been damaged by water. I think what's actually happened is water's coming down the roof, quite a large volume of water, as you can imagine. There's a roof above it emptying, and there's a roof here. It's going to come down here with some force, and it's going to be hitting against the siding at the bottom. So it's a two-step process to cure this. First thing is take that trim work out, replace it, make sure the area behind it is sealed from water. Replace it, recork it and paint it, so that is now fixed and it's in good condition. But in addition to that, it would be an idea just to put a diverter in the roof in this area here to throw the water, kick it out over to here, to the actual gutter here, rather than let it come down against this wall, because it's going to deteriorate again. It's just the design of the roof is such that it's doing that. We're looking at the wall system at the rear elevation, and what I've noticed is all windows that have steel lintels do not have weep holes over them. Now, there doesn't seem to have been any effect, and therefore it's probably okay to leave it, because we've not. What actually happens if you don't have weep holes, the lintels themselves can rust in the middle and they push down because of the dampness that accumulates at dawn and dusk, and they push down because of the expanded rust and then crack the brick above it. Well, that's not happened, so those lintels are probably not exposed in a way that would allow water to condensate on them. So I'd note it. There's no weep holes. When this house was built, it wasn't common to put them in, but I wouldn't do anything about it because there's no obvious damage due to the missing weep holes. Now down the side of the window here, there's a crack in the mortar, and that's going to allow water in. And water is often the cause of rot, and we have rot on these windows here. And those areas that have rotten are now allowing water in, more water in, so it's going to get worse. So, very simple job. It's remove the windows, replace the wooden frame in the areas where it's damaged. It can be spliced in. And repaint. Now up here I checked the caulking. We could see it's been silicone caulked here, but it could still be letting water in, and that's why you're getting this continued problem with the frame rotting. But for the moment, the solution would be to repair that framework in that area. It'd be a pretty straightforward job. This frame here is also damaged by wood rot. I can't see any obvious area of water penetration, apart from it could actually be onto the window seal itself. Again, that frame needs to be repaired. I'm standing at the right elevation. You can see that there is a vine growing all on the wall down the whole of the property. This is not good. There's a number of reasons why it's not good. First thing is the vines actually can damage the brickwork. In addition to that, they will, given time, get into the attic. This is making its way up to the actual gutter line. It's going to block the gutter and cause problems there. This type of vine shouldn't be allowed to grow up the side of a house. It will lead to damage, and I recommend that you talk to your neighbour about having this whole area, this line area, removed. I'm at the rear left elevation by the pool equipment. Again, we're still looking at walls and windows. So far I have to report the walls are in really excellent condition. There are no cracks in them. It's very common for cracks to develop in walls in Texas properties because of the nature of the soils that the properties sit on. But they're doing okay here. We have no signs of structural movement, which is excellent. This is the enclosed patio where a problem arose with water penetration, and it was reported to me that the water rose quite high, and to alleviate that, holes or weeps were drilled in the holes in the walls at the bottom at the base here. Now here's the problem. The grade on the other side of this wall here, the grade slopes towards this foundation. This pipe, we don't know where it goes. We can only assume it connects into one of the drainage systems for the gutters up here, okay? And that's an assumption, but let's assume that's correct. Those gutter systems above and around drain into each other and then go into the street. My opinion is the reason this flooded was not because water came in here in such volume it couldn't get out through the drain, but the drain backed up. And backed up because water was coming in all the way around that yard the other side. Now imagine this, the yard the other side was where the water accumulated, and it was trying to find somewhere to actually drain out, and I think it came in through the drain. It wasn't going out through the drain. What is actually happening, and for putting these weeps in, you may have made the problem worse. I'm now at the right elevation, and yeah, this is where the area is flooding, and this is the wall to the small patio area here. So I think my theory is possibly right. You put some weeps in here, it allowed it to drain, but what was actually happening was the drain itself was backing up. You see here we've got a downpipe. Imagine the flows of water going in there, so much water it can't get out. And it can't run to the street, possibly because it's blocked with leaves and debris, and so it then backs up into your little patio area. So I think you probably need to have those drains cleaned to ensure they're going to function correctly. This is where the yard drains come out, and you've got two of them. So one of these, this one here is yours, and I think that's the one that's possibly blocked. There's water damage to the baseboard along here, and also water damage to the door right down the bottom here. That area there, you've got the water weeping up. What is actually happening is there's debris that's built up in the gap, which is a relief gap. At the bottom of the door you see there's a relief gap. It's also been corked, which is incorrect. It needs to be cut out. This whole piece of wood here I think is recoverable. It doesn't look as if it's deteriorated beyond repair. So cleaning it up, digging out the debris under here, and then repainting should fix it. And that's also true of the baseboard, and perhaps even splicing a new piece of baseboard. There's a little bit of common settlement going on over the arch of the front door. It's very common to find settlement in that area. You can see also a little bit of settlement here. Nothing to be worried about, but you need to caulk in this area here and above it on the brick to stop water penetrating in. This is the yard door. We've got paint coming off, and the reason we've got paint coming off is this area here is actually in contact with the threshold, and that allows water to wick up into it. What should happen is there should be a cutback like there is here. You see how it's relieved? There's a gap there. There should be a similar one here, and that would stop water wicking up and damaging the paintwork. That's on both sides. This is a fireplace inspection. What I'm looking at is for gaps where hot gases can escape into the wall system behind the fireplace. This is an unlined chimney, and that's fine. It's got gas logs here. It's not burning wood or anything which produces a tar. But up the top here, you just see in that area there that needs to be caulked with a fireproof caulking, and that's true on this side too. It's belts and braces, I know, but it does prevent the potential for hot gases getting in that area there. Other than that, all I can observe on the chimney is fine. I can't obviously look up into the chimney itself. You'd have to have that looked at by a chimney expert. But from the observation I'm making as a home inspector, caulking around these areas here, around here, fireproof caulking should fix the obvious problems that I can see at this level. This is a retaining screw for the electrical panel. Taking the panel off, go in this hole here. There's a problem with these screws. You can see they've got a very sharp point on them. And the problem is that they pass through into the cabinetry, and they can actually cut into the wire and cause a short circuit and make the front of the panel live. Very dangerous. So they must be replaced. I'm going to put them back in, but I'm not going to put them back in everywhere. I'm going to put them in on the lower parts where I can ensure I don't actually come near a cable. But up the top here, it's too risky. I could cut a cable when I screw it back in. I've currently got all AC units running. We've got damaged installation on this AC unit that needs to be replaced. So this is the static water pressure test. We've got a pressure here of just under 110 pounds. That is 30 pounds over. That's way too high. It shouldn't be above 80, and we're nearly 20, nearly 30. Is it? Let's see. No, it's 115. So what is that? That's 20. Yeah, it's about 35. I'm standing at the front yard and got a large leak. It wasn't there this morning. It just seems to have appeared. Looks like, from where it's coming, that it's the irrigation system is leaking. But that's considerable. Secure the rain sensor to the wall. Left as it is at the moment, it's going to get damaged. The power supply for the water sprinkler system, it's not right. It's actually a cable that's plugging into the box here. Really, for something that's permanently installed, that should be wired directly into an to a junction box. So I recommend a junction box is installed there. There is always the possibility with these type of arrangements, water can get in. It could turn the circuitry around here live, and of course that can lead to electrocution. This is water heater inspection. You can see here we have the beginnings of corrosion forming actually at the valve. Now this is a brass valve. It has other components in it, steel components, so dissimilar metals, and that starts to occur as the water heater itself deteriorates. In the water heater there should be a sacrificial cathode. Now this particular one doesn't show one at the top. Sometimes you can actually remove them and put new ones in, but this one doesn't have that. There's no rust or corrosion around the two inlets, so that does indicate that the unit itself is reasonably okay. But what I've got to say is that these units, these water heaters in this part of the world, only last about 6 years, and this one has a temperature pressure relief valve here that's locked shut. That's got to be replaced. This one has a temperature pressure relief valve. Let's see if we can operate this one. We can, it works. So that one is okay, this one's not. There's no guarantee on water heaters really, because of the acidic water. We can't really say how long they're going to last. But they've got trays, safety trays, so if they do leak we should be able to know about it. Let's have a look at the combustion chamber.